Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
I think I have given you the if part for you people to do it. Have you done? Every point we have written as an intersection for the open sets containing that point. The only if part I have proved, you have to prove the if part. I hope everyone knowing that your timetable is declared.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why we are saying that you have to complete whatever the uh, टाउट इन योर लेक्चर जो भी आपको लेक्चर में आज हो रहा है वो आपको कंप्लीट करना है एट एनी कॉस्ट. Okay, let us go for the if part. What is there in the if part? We have been provided that every point, we can say for all x belongs to capital X, for every point can be written as intersection of all the open sets which contains that point. Okay, so to prove that, what is our aim to prove that x2 is a T1 space? Our aim is to prove that x2 is a T1 space. So for that, let us consider x is not equal to y in capital X, right? To prove any space to be a T1 space, we start with the assumption with the two different points. The consideration x and y are the members of X because your capital X is a universal set. Now, as they are members of X and we have written for every element of capital X, we can write every element of capital X as an intersection of all the open sets containing that point. So I can write the same thing for the 2 points X and Y because both are the members of capital X. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I will write down this as an intersection of all the open sets which contains that point. If you are confusing with the G itself, you can replace this as a H. For Y, you can say that all the open sets H which contain the points Y. Okay, but what is given to us? X is not equal to Y. It is provided to us. So if X is not equal to Y, obviously X will not belongs to singleton Y, right? Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
If X is not the member of singleton Y, I can write the statement as X is not a member of an intersection of all the open sets which contain the point Y, right? So this Y I have written here, correct? Instead of writing singleton Y, we have written it in the form of the intersection. Okay? So which implies what it implies? There exists the open set G such that X does not belongs to G but Y belongs to G. Have you understood this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me explain you how it works. We have written that we have started with the assumption X is not equal to Y. And what is singleton X and singleton Y? We have written them as an intersection of all the open sets. Right? Now, what we have written, X is not a member of singleton Y, so that's why it will not be a member of the intersection of all the open sets, right? So that's why we can say X is not a member of a G, but Y is a member of a G, right? So in the very similar way, we can show that. What we can show is, again we can write if X is not equal to Y, we can say Y is not a member of singleton X. So how singleton X we have written, it is intersection of all the open sets which contain the point X. Again I am repeating, if you are confusing with the notation, you can use the open set H, right? So we can say now there exists one another open set. There exists open set H belongs to tau such that Y is not a member of H but X is a member of a H. Okay, and hence what it proves, X2 is a T1 space. Okay, here what we have written, X is not a member of the these open set, but initially we have an assumption, no? We have written here. Okay, we have written singleton X belongs to G, no? X belongs to G. So if you are confusing with that, you can write here this as a open set H. Okay. So X belongs to G already हमने लिखा है. So instead of having this, you can write it as H, and Y belongs to H. And if you are confusing with this one, so let me write this as there exists open set G which contains point X, but it does not contain Y. Any doubt for this one?
No, ma'am.
It is very easy. Simply you have to consider these as a open set H. If you are confusing, let me consider these as open set H which contain the point Y, and hence the result. Okay. Instead of finding a single open set, we have found many number of open set which contain that point. Right now, singleton X क्या है? Intersection of all the open set. So here we got the guaranteed open set which contain the point X. Here we got the guaranteed open set which contain the point Y. And X and Y are not equal, so that's why their corresponding open sets will not be equal. Right now? So let me go for the next theorem. Let X2 be a T1 space. The point X is a limit point of capital E if and only if for any open set G containing X will contain infinite distinct points of E. Okay, again this theorem we have to prove in the if and only if part. Given that X2 is T1 space, right? We have X2 is a T1 space, and initially we have to take if and only if part. C. What is given to us? For all X belongs to capital X is a limit point of E. Any point of X is a limit point of E if and only if. Okay, it will be limit point of capital E if and only if for any open set G, containing the point X. Okay, for any open set G containing the point X. For any open set means what? For all the open set G belongs to 2. Containing the point X means what? X belongs to G. Will contain the infinite distinct points of E. Will contain infinite distinct points of E. Okay, so as it is an if and only if part, so let me go for the if part first because it will be easier for us. If part is a smaller one, and then we'll go for the only if part, right? So what is there in the if part? X2 be some T1 space we have been provided, and X is any point from capital X is a limit point of E. Right, and we have to prove that. What is our aim to prove? For all the open set G containing that point will contain infinite distinct points of E. Right, what do you mean by this statement? Will contain the infinite distinct points of E. That means we have to show that G, that is all the open set G containing the point X intersection with the E contains the infinite distinct points of E. इन दोनों का इंटरसेक्शन में क्या आना चाहिए? इनफाइनाइट मेंबर्स ऑफ कैपिटल. ओके, so just we have to prove that G intersection E minus singleton X is not equal to 5. This is what the definition of a limit point in the second part. Okay, to prove that X is a limit point of E, we have to prove that if part. In the if part, we have some given things, and to prove that, what is our aim to prove that in the if part? We have to prove that X is a limit point of capital E. Okay, so if I want to prove in the if part that X is a limit point of E, what is given to us? X belongs to capital X. X belongs to a capital X is a common statement for all the open set G containing the point X. Right, what is given to us? Intersection of G with E has infinitely many members of E. That means, in short, we can say this is not equal to 5. Okay? Have you understood what is given to us and what we want to prove in the both parts?
Yes, ma'am.
So let us go for the proof. If I want to show x is a limit point of E, we want to show that G intersection E minus singleton x is a non-empty. Okay, what is our assumption? G intersection E is having infinitely many members, right? So we can say G intersection E is not equal to 5, correct? So can I write the statement as G intersection E minus singleton x is also non-empty? Since what is our assumption? G intersection E contains infinitely many members. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So as we are saying that intersection of G with E has infinitely many members, so we can say that this G intersection E minus singleton x will not be equal to 5, which implies what it implies? It is nothing but the definition of a limit point. Hence, x is a limit point of capital E. Okay. Now when we have a question whether x belongs to G, यहाँ पे हमने लिखा है ना, for all the open set G containing the point x, we have proved the definition. What is the definition for the limit point? For all the open set G containing the point x, intersection of G with E minus the point x is a non-empty. So our if part completed. Now let us go for the second one, that is only if part. Okay, what is there in the only if part? We have been provided that x is a limit point of E. If we have x is a limit point of E, what is our aim to prove that? We have to prove that intersection of G with E has infinitely many members. What is G in this case? G is nothing but one open. G is nothing but the open set containing the point x. Those who haven't muted their mic, please mute the mic. Otherwise, it will be recorded in the lecture. कुणाचं चालू आहे माईक? कुंभारे वैष्णवी, सॉरी कुंभारे वैभवी. Okay. So to prove that for any open set G containing the point x, G intersection E contains the infinitely many members of E. Okay, we have to prove that G intersection E contains infinitely many members of E. That is to prove that G intersection E is non-empty. Okay, the intersection E, we have to prove it is non-empty. If we want to prove that G intersection E is a non-empty, or rather we want to prove it is an infinitely many members. So let us assume the contradiction that G intersection E contains a finite number of elements. Right? We want to prove that G intersection E contains infinitely member. But what we will assume, if possible, G intersection E contains finite number of members. Correct? So if we assume if possible, we will write if possible, let us assume that G intersection E contains finite number of members. So can I write this as G intersection E minus singleton x is also some finite number? So which implies we can say this is what f is equal to G intersection E minus singleton x. Right? So if G intersection E minus singleton x is a finite set, so we can say f is a finite set. Right? If capital F is a finite set, we have been provided that X2 is a T1 space. So for X2 to be a T1 space, we have proved one theorem that as a generalization of one theorem, we have proved that all the finite sets in the T1 space are closed sets. Any doubt up to this one?
No, ma'am.
See, if you are having a doubt, you can ask me at any step. I am going somewhat fast so that your syllabus should be covered up till your exam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, F is a finite set. So we have proved one theorem in the last lecture that all the finite sets are closed in your T1 space. We have proved this as a if and only if. So we can say F is a closed set. Correct? If F is a closed set, what is X minus F? Again, we have to use the one theorem. F is closed if and only if its complement is open. So X minus F will be open set. Right? So, can I write X belongs to X minus F intersection with G? Okay, let me show you. What is F? We have constructed F as a G intersection E minus singleton X. What do you mean by F is equal to G intersection E minus singleton X? It means that X is not a member of F because we have excluded F. Okay, if we have excluded capital F, it means that X is not a member of capital F. So obviously X will be a member of its complement.
Yes, ma'am.
Only one possibility, na? Either it is a member of F or it is a member of its complement. So initially we have selected X is belonging to G for G to be open set. If it is a member of G as well as it is a member of a complement, so obviously it will come in the intersection. Okay. So if it comes in the intersection, and we have been provided that what is given to us, X is a limit point of E. Right. In the second part, we have X is a limit point of E. What do you mean by X to be a limit point of E? Open set, right? This is what the open set holds intersection with the set, right? Intersection with the set minus the point is non-empty. This is given, na? X is a limit point of E. So any open set we can take. Now what is a guaranteed open set which contains the point X is X minus F intersection G. As F is a closed set, so its complement is open set. So intersection of the open set is again an open set. So instead of considering any open set, I have considered this one is a guaranteed open set which contains the point X. Right? So intersection of open set with the set minus the point is non-empty. Now here somewhere we will get a contradiction. Yes, try to find out the contradiction in this statement. Who has joined the lecture just now? हाँ कौन होते लेट?
Join my MA.
Why you are so late?
Message
हाँ
बघितलं
yes.
ना.
Okay, just tell me whether you got the contradiction somewhere here.
Yes, ma'am.
Where? Can you tell me where you got the contradiction?
Ma'am, the open set intersection E is equal to singleton x theta and then phi not equal to phi.
Right, G intersection. Okay, the open set intersection with E is a singleton X. How you can say the intersection is a singleton X?
Because x belongs to that open set and x is limit point of E also.
X is a limit point of E, but it is not given that X is a member of E. Na? It is not always compulsory that a limit point will be a member of a set. Correct? Na? Many examples we have solved. Sometimes we have a set E is equal to AB, but C is a limit point of that set. Okay, let me show you how the contradiction arises to this. X minus F intersection with G, right? Intersection with E minus singleton X, right? So this minus singleton X I can write two times. Those who remember we have proved E minus singleton X, sorry, G intersection E minus singleton X is non-empty, and we have proved one more result, G intersection E minus singleton X minus singleton X is not equal to phi if this holds. Those who remember, we have proved this type of a statement somewhere in the basic that if X is a limit point of E, we have proved that X is a limit point of E minus singleton X. आठवते का?
Yes, ma'am.
So with the help of that, I have written G intersection E minus singleton X in the one bracket minus singleton X once again minus 5. Okay, what is this G intersection E minus singleton X? This is what your set F. G intersection E minus singleton X is a set capital F, right? So X minus F intersection with capital F minus singleton X is non-empty. So can you tell me what is the result of this one? Intersection of capital F with F complement?
Empty.
It is empty. Minus singleton X is non-empty, which means that phi is not equal to phi, which is a contradiction. So this contradiction arises due to the wrong assumption that, what was our wrong assumption? G intersection E is a finite. So what should be the correct assumption? G intersection E contains the infinite members of capital E. Okay. Those who want to see, those who want to repeat this, you can see the YouTube lecture once again whenever you are going to have a revision of this part. So that it will be easier for you. Okay, now let me go for the next space. We are going to study the next space, that is T2 space, or we can call it as a Hausdorff space. T2 space or a Hausdorff space, and here I will write down the statement. Every T2 is a T1 space, every T1 is a T0 space, every T0 is a T space. Because any space, if it want to be a T2 space or Ti space, it must be first a Ti space. Okay, many conditions have been imposed on T2. So that's why if suppose this is what a T space, so this is what a T0, right? Then it is T1, then here is T2 space. Okay, as the conditions are going to be increased, the set becomes smaller and smaller. So every T2 is a T1, every T1 is T0, every T0 is a T space. Okay, let us go for the definition. What is the definition? Let X2 be a T space. First, we have let X2 be a T space. Then, what is the condition? What is the next condition for this? X2 is said to be T2 space. X2 is said to be T2 space if for any two sets, any two different elements, we have two open sets such that for x not equal to y in capital X, there exists the open set G and H such that. Now you will come to know that this is very similar to T1 space, but only one condition is extra. What was there in T1 space? X belongs to G, Y does not belongs to G, and Y belongs to H, X does not belongs to H. But one more extra condition is there in T2 space, that is G intersection is empty. Okay, those who remember while explaining a T0 space, T1 space, what was our T0 space? Let me show you. We have the two different elements, say X and Y. So we should have at least one open set G which contain the point X. Or in another way, you can write the images. These are the 2 points X and Y. So this may contain the point Y. And for T1 space, we have the two different images. Either the intersection of G and H is non-empty, which contains the two different points, or we may have the intersection of G and H here it is empty, here it is non-empty. So these are what the point X and Y. But what is the condition in T2 space? Only the condition is given that intersection of G and H is empty. So this is what your point Y and X. Are you getting what are the differences in T0, T1 and T2 space?
Yes, ma'am.
In the T0 space, we have only condition to find out one open set. But in T1 space, we have to find out two open set. Right? But in T2 space, we have the condition to find out two disjoint open set. One more condition is there, two disjoint open set. The disjoint word shows you one more extra condition. So that's why that collection of a T2 space becomes smaller and smaller. Okay, as you increase the number of condition, it will become smaller and smaller. Okay. So we should find out the same condition just like your T1 space, but only one more condition, that is intersection of G with H is empty set. So I can write the note here. Every T2 space is T1 space. The next is I can say every T2 space is a T0 space. Right, you have to find out the counter example for reverse one. That means whether every T1 is a T2 space. No doubt it is not true. I have given one example for T1 also. Every T0 will not be a T2 space. You have to find out the counter examples for this one. Right now, in the last lecture of T1 space, I have given you the counter example of every T0 is not a T1 space. दिले होते ना, आठवते का?
Yes, ma'am. Indiscrete T space.
No, it is not indiscrete. I have given the example of T0 and T1. Indiscrete to T0 और T1 दोनों भी नहीं है. But what was of my question? Here we have every T1 is a T0 space. We have written this in the somewhere after the definition of a T1. But every T0 is not a T1. Reverse is not possible. For this one, I have given you one example. X is equal to with some A, B, C, 2 is equal to some topology I have defined, and I have proved it is a T0 space, and you have proved it is not a T1 space. and hence we can say it is a T naught, but it is not a T1. So reverse is not possible. समझते का?
Yes, ma'am.
Every T2 is a T1 space. So instead of writing that, I have written this implication. In the exam, it may be the statement like every T2 space is a T1 space. Okay, that's why I have written this in a symbolic form. Every T2 space is a T1 space. So that it will be easy for you to remember in the symbolic form. Okay, now let us go one more example for this one, that is our discrete T space. The first one, 2 is equal to power set of x, which is equal to the family k, right? And if I want to prove it is T2 space, I have to start with the condition x not equal to y in capital X, right? And we have to find out two disjoint open set. Okay, how to find out two disjoint open sets?
Singleton X and singleton Y.
Correct. Whether they are disjoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, correct. So will you prove it? No need to go for this one. Directly you can say x and y are members of x. That's why singleton x, singleton y both are members of power set of x. So that's why they can be selected as a open sets and answer result. Okay. So let me go for this indiscrete. Obviously, it is not in T naught, as it is not a T naught space. T naught nahi hai na, indiscrete T space. So as it is not a T naught, obviously it will not be T1. It will not be a T2 space. No need to verify, right? So for that, let me go for the cofinite T space. The second one we have indiscrete. The third one we will find out about the cofinite T space. Okay, we have done it for T0 and T1. Let me now, okay, we have to find out whether cofinite T space is a T2 space or not. Before going to that, I will tell you it is not a not a T2 space. So that's why what is a claim? Okay, so now again you can do a comparative study, right? What do you have to do in the comparative study? You have to write down the spaces name and whether it satisfy the being a T1, T0 and T2. T0 or T1 है ना cofinite T space. We have proved this, but it is not a T2 space. So in the table you have to just cross mark it. Okay, what is our claim? No two open sets. That means we have to show that there does not exist any two open set in X2 which satisfy the conditions of being a disjoint. Okay, because पहला condition तो obviously prove होता है, but what it remains we have to prove they are disjoint. Correct? No, we have proved it T1 space, which means that we are able to find out the two open sets which satisfy the condition. What the condition? X belongs to G, Y does not belongs to G. Y belongs to H, X does not belongs to H. Okay. So this condition already we have proved for a cofinite T space. Those who remember, we have done this already in the T0 as well as in T1 space. So in T1 space, we have proved this condition. So what it remains to prove, there we are able to find out the two open sets, but they are not a disjoint. Correct? What I want to say, are you getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
दोन डिफरंट ओपन सेट भेटले होते जे कंडिशन सॅटिस्फाय करतात बट T2 मध्ये काय कंडिशन आहे वन मोर कंडिशन इज देअर इन T2 that means there should be a disjoint open set. Okay, just we have to show that they are not a disjoint. So let me Start. Let G and H belongs to 2 such that G intersection H is non-empty. We will start with the assumption that G intersection H is non-empty. As G is a member of a 2, so what is a possibility to be a member of 2? There are two possibilities to be a member of 2. आठवते का?
Phi or A complement is finite.
To be a member of a toe, there are two possibilities that either it should be a empty set or its complement is a finite set. If I am saying that this is non-empty set and it is a member of toe, what should be the assumption? G complement, or we can say x minus g is a finite set. Okay, if x minus g is a finite set, we have to prove that they are not a disjoint. Okay, we have to prove that G intersection H is non-empty. So that we will assume, if possible, to prove non-empty is somewhat difficult. So we will assume the contradiction that G intersection H is empty. Okay, if G intersection H is empty, what is a possibility? I have written this one many times. A intersection B, if it is empty, A is contained in B complement and B is contained in the A complement, right? So I can say now G is contained in X minus H, also H is contained in X minus G. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not remembering, you have to draw the image. A intersection B if they are disjoint set. So this is what A and B. So what is complement of A, what is complement of B, you have to find out it and you have to verify the result. In the basic lectures, I have given you in detailed description. Okay, what is the result we have found? X minus G is a finite set. Why it is a finite set? Because if G is a member of 2, its complement is a finite set. Right? If X minus G is a finite set, H is a subset. Right? H is a subset. So obviously H is also finite set. Right? If H is a finite set, it and we have selected G and H to be a members of 2, H is member of 2 as well as a finite set. Okay, there are two conditions on H. It is a member of 2 as well as it is a finite set. So, what will be X minus H?
Finite set.
Correct. X minus H is a finite set from the definition of 2. Right? As H is a member of 2 and H is a finite set. Right? So H is non-empty. We can say H is non-empty finite set. So its complement is a finite set. Right? So if its complement is a finite set, what we can say, X minus H union with H. What is the result? X minus H union with H?
X.
X itself, right? So we have proved here H is finite, correct? H ये finite है, X minus H is also finite, right? So this is also finite set, this is also finite set. So finite union of finite set is also finite, बरोबर?
Yes, ma'am.
But what is there in the cofinite space? X is
X is infinite set.
correct. X is a infinite set. So it is contradiction to your original assumption and hence the result. This contradiction arises due to the wrong assumption that if possible G intersection H is a empty set. So what is the right assumption or what will be the right consideration that G intersection H is a non-empty. So we are not able to find out two disjoint open set. No doubt we will find out the two open sets which satisfy the condition of T1 space, but it will not satisfy the condition of a T2 space. To satisfy the condition of a T2 space, one more condition is there. G intersection H is a empty set. But here G intersection H we are getting to be non-empty. Similarly, you can prove the fourth example, that is co-countable. Again for co-countable everything is same. जो भी हमने इसमें लिखा था सेम लिखना है आपको. Instead of that we will have x minus h union h will be x which is countable, but given that x is uncountable, and with the help of that contradiction you can prove the result. Okay, whatever we have done for a cofinite you have to do very similarly. Okay, now I will give you the counter example. Okay, just now I told you that we have to find out the counter examples. Okay, here I have given every T1 space need not be a T2 space. So for this I have a counter example that what are the counter example? Cofinite and co-countable. Correct na? Co-finite co-countable दोन्ही T1 spaces आहेत, but they are not T2 spaces. Okay, so that's why we can say every T1 is not a T2 space, and for that we have an example that cofinite and co-countable spaces are the example that they are T1 but not a T2 space. Okay, and here also you can write down the same thing. They are cofinite and co-countable are T0 spaces, but they are not a T2 space. Okay, these are very important for you people. Whenever I am writing the note, whenever I am saying that every T2 is a T1, you have to think in the reverse way. That's why I am telling you many times that P implies Q is not a single statement. We can find out many number of statements from this, that negation of Q implies negation of P, as well as we have to verify the condition whether Q implies P. No doubt it is not always possible. Q implies P will not be equal to Y. So that's why a single statement now can be converted into the three statement. Correct ना? P implies Q का meaning क्या है? Q does not implies P. Right ना? अगर Q implies P भी होता तो हम उसको if and only if part में prove करते ना?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why a single statement for you people now becomes a three statement. So whatever the statement, suppose you have a 50 statement up to now that you remember. So now it will become 150 statements. सगळे 150 स्टेटमेंट रिमेंबर करू नका, फक्त 50 स्टेटमेंट माहिती असेल तर त्याला कन्वर्ट करू शकतो आपण. P implies Q, negation of Q implies P, and Q does not implies P. Again, all the properties of T1 space, whatever we have proved, will be obviously true for a T2 space. Correct? Just remember the relation. Every T2 is a T1, every T1 is a T0, every T0 is a T space. So T1 के लिए जो भी हम characteristic property prove किए थे वो by default T2 के लिए true है, right? So if the question is there in the exam about the characteristic properties of T2 space, you have to write down as it is whatever the properties we have seen for a T1 space. Let me write down those. नंतर एक्झाम मध्ये सांगू नका हे T1 स्पेस साठी मॅडमनी कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक प्रॉपर्टी प्रूव्ह करून दिले होते, T2 साठी नाही दिले होते. Because every T2 is a T1 space implies that whatever may be the statements of T1, it will be automatically true for T2. क्योंकि T2 पे एक्स्ट्रा कंडीशन है ना, दोनों सिमिलर है. What is a different in T2 and T1? Only the condition G intersection H is a empty set. So that's why only one condition. So एक्स्ट्रा कंडीशन है ना, कंडीशन रिमूव नहीं किया है हमने. सो बिकॉज इट इज हैविंग एन एक्स्ट्रा कंडीशन, सो जो भी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक प्रॉपर्टी T1 और T0 के लिए ट्रू है वो ऑब्वियसली T2 के लिए ट्रू है. राइट, लेट मी राइट डाउन ऑल दोस so that you can understand what are those characteristic property for a T2 space. First one which we have seen is in a T2 space all the singleton sets are a closed set. In T1 space we have proved, so now I will write in T2 space all the singleton sets are closed set. All the singleton sets are a closed set. The second property which we have seen is in the T2 space, all the finite sets are closed. Okay. Third characteristic property which we have seen is in the T2 space, every element can be written as intersection of all the open sets which contain that element. The fourth property which we have proved is in T2 space. We have proved this for T1. So simply I am writing the same thing for T2. What we have proved just now, G intersection, it is a T2 space if and only if G intersection E contains infinitely many members of E. We can write infinitely many elements of E. Okay? Are you getting me what I am telling you?
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever the properties we have proved for a T1, it will be obviously true for a T2 since T1 and T2 are same. But only extra condition is there in T2, so that's why these properties or this characteristic property will be obviously true for our T2 space. Okay, now the homework is there for you people that you have to prove the result, or we can say the theorem being a T2 space is hereditary. The next theorem we have to prove being a T2 space is topological property. Those who are not getting, go to the lectures of T1 and T0 in the YouTube, and by seeing those lecture of hereditary and topological property, it will be very easy for you to prove the result. Otherwise, if you have written the notes, again it will be more easy for you if you have prepared the notes of T0 and T1 for being a hereditary and topological property. Okay. So if you are not having a doubt, should we end the lecture?
Yes, ma'am.
In the next lecture, we will go for the some examples that every metric space is a T2 space. Then we will prove every metric space is T1 space. And then we will prove fourth space is a T2 space. Okay, fourth space माहिती है का? We have defined it with the help of infinity. And one more important thing in the next lecture we will see is the limit point is unique in our real analysis, but in topology limit point is not a unique for any sequence. I'm not telling about the sets. I will in the next lecture we will see limit point of sequence is not a unique. Okay. But in real analysis, if a sequence is having a limit point, it is a unique. Convergent रहा तो unique होता है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
But here we will see if it is having a convergent sequence, still the limit points are not a unique. That is what the simple difference in real analysis and topology. Okay. And then we will complete the compact spaces and regular D3. I hope we will complete the syllabus on time. I will try to complete this up to 31st July. Otherwise, because at least 8 to 10 days you should have for your preparation of exam, or you can say for revision itself. Okay. So best of luck for your, not for examination, I will say best of luck for your preparation of exam. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you can leave the meeting to join the next lecture. Thank you.